I love my swine and I love it saucy, sticky, and all types of delicious. And on this episode of Miss Mandi Throwdown, I get to show you how to make pork ribs with a coffee rub. I'm pretty sure you're like, what? Well, let's get into it. A lot of you are probably wondering why I'm going to be using coffee on the ribs. Well, because coffee is great for darkening meat, and especially to the color or consistency that we want it to be, it's going to do that. We're not going to use a lot of it. We're just going to use the right amount of quantity in order to get the results that we need. So we're going to start things off by washing our pork ribs really well as well. Now once we've washed them, we're going to be rinsing it with a little bit of vinegar. Kills any bacteria. We're gonna start things off with brown sugar. That's about 1 teaspoon. And then we're gonna move on to our coffee, of course. About 1.5 teaspoons. Our onion salt. That's 1 teaspoon as well. Then we're going to move on to our light brown sugar. We're gonna go with 1 tablespoon. And we're going to be using about 1 teaspoon of cinnamon. Now, we don't measure garlic, right guys? We do not measure garlic, so as much garlic as you can throw in there, throw it all in there. I'm going to be adding paprika, about 1 teaspoon as well, black pepper, 1 teaspoon, and since I like my food spicy, we're gonna go 1 teaspoon of chili powder. We're going to mix it all well in together. Now at this point, you definitely want to taste. Woo! It's fabulous. And voila, your coffee rub is ready. Now, I don't know about you, but I'm not a fan of the extra fat, so we're gonna be taking that off. Once all the fat is trimmed, we're gonna just flip it over, and I'm just going to pierce a couple of holes so that the marinade can sip in. And then flip it back over. And at this point, you just want to take your coffee rub and sprinkle it. Already you can see the coffee transforming and making it brown. That's essentially the color you need. Once you've rubbed the top side, we're definitely just going to put it onto the foil. And then go ahead and take your coffee rub and sprinkle it on. So we have used all of the coffee rub that we made onto these ribs. Made sure every single inch is covered with them as well. So once you have applied the coffee rub on it, just going to, and then we're gonna preheat our oven in order to put the pork ribs in there. We're gonna let the oven get really hot before we put our pork ribs in. We've put in the ribs into the oven. We're gonna be baking them for about 30 minutes before we check on them and see if they are tender, if they need the glaze. And of course, I'm gonna be showing you all of that in just a little bit. So it's been 36 minutes and literally, it looks absolutely gorgeous. So we're gonna be using my homemade barbecue sauce. You can definitely just use any barbecue sauce you like. Flip it over. Smother some barbecue sauce on this side as well. So we're gonna leave the foil open and we're gonna put it back in order for the sauce to just cook into the ribs. It's been about 7 minutes and they are definitely ready to be cut up. If you have an hour to spare, then you have an hour to whip up these amazing coffee rub ribs. Do remember that my oven is different from yours. My highest setting is 250 degrees and that's where I started off with the ribs. And of course, once I put on the barbecue sauce, I turned it down to all the way to 180 in order for the barbecue sauce to really sip in and do its magic. Now for my favorite part, of course to dig in, but before I do that, I want to let you know that you need to like, comment, subscribe. I want to talk with food in my mouth, but damn it.